Hello, welcome to another Help Desk Tier 2 training video. Today we're going to start off on how to properly backup a local profile before you reinstall the operating system or before you delete anything on the computer. It's just a really good practice to learn. And the second part of it is going to be talking about email. We have a couple of tickets I want to concentrate on that are talking about some weird email issues. Something weird's going on with this email situation, so we're going to talk about it. It's going to be a very interesting video, so let's get into it. Hello everyone, my name is Irvin, also known as Kobuman. Thank you so much for joining me on this session for help desk training. Just so you know, I do have a Udemy course that I've created which consists of 50 trouble tickets with solutions. The link for that is on the first comment that's pinned by me, so if you want to check that out, I'm giving out 100 free of the admissions for that course. The reason I made that course and the reason I have a couple of courses on Udemy is because when new people find my channel, they frequently ask me for more and additional content, and for some reason YouTube is not recommending my videos in order. YouTube is recommending my videos to people later on, but they are not recommending my videos in order. For example, let's say you finish watching this video and the next video that's automatically played is going to be mine in order. That doesn't happen. It's really rare that that would happen, and for those reasons I decided to put these courses on Udemy where it's 50 of them in a row. There are no ads or interruptions or anything like that. You can go over there and study at your own pace. So that's the main reason for that, and if you want to check it out again, it's on the first comment below the video. All right, we do have a bunch of tickets that we can work on. It looks like we have a lot of tickets from Javier and Tracy. I really appreciate you guys submitting these tickets. I do want to talk about something real quick that recent comment came up with, and that is a question of how to backup Windows 10 profile properly. So we're going to talk about that real quick, and the reason you want to do this is when you're re-imaging a computer, meaning everything is being deleted on your computer and you want to save everything that's on the local computer. So if you go to your local C, users, and then whatever you see in here, these are going to be local profiles, whether it's your own local profile. For example, this one is called Big Power, and that's what I would use to log into this computer. However, this profile is specifically dedicated to be an administrator local profile. So whenever I make changes, I use Big Power's permissions to, for example, install, update, or anything on the computer. Kobuman is the current one that I'm using right now. And this other one is default. Basically, if you go inside a default, for example, the default desktop, and if you were to create a shortcut in here and place it, for example, here it says if I want to create a folder, here is that Big Power one that I just talked about, and it won't let me do this, create a new folder on desktop unless I have administrator privileges. And if I just hit enter, this folder is now going to appear to every new person that logs into this computer. So every new person by default who logs into this computer will have this folder inside of there as well. So if I go back to users and I look at public and I do the same thing, this basically is the place where all the shortcuts are placed immediately. So if I create a new folder in here, it's going to appear automatically to whoever is logged into that computer. So if I hit enter, the new folder will come up immediately. And if you look over here, and here it is, I'm just going to drag it over. Here is that same folder, and to prove it to you, I'm just going to move this down a little bit here, and watch this. I'm going to delete this folder, right? And it's gone. You see how it disappeared from here, and that's what the public is. So this basically allows you to push new documents, folders, or anything you want to people who are already logged into that computer, already using it, and anybody who may have used it at some point. Now the default one is whatever is created for the new users when they log in to the computer for the first time. So that folder again that I've created, and when it comes to default, it's only going to appear to the people who log into this computer for the first time. And they would be logging in with local profiles like this one. This is what I'm logged in right now as Kobuman, and of course this one is reserved to be administrator. In a business environment, you may see a folder that's just called administrator right here, or whatever else that they use for that business. Now to make a copy, what I suggest is, and if you're doing this manually, and you're about to create a new image and put it on the computer. You're going to erase everything that's on the computer, install Windows and all of that. Well, this is what you would do. Basically, you would use what I call a backdoor, right? This is what I call a backdoor, but what it is really is you're accessing a remote computer that's on the same network over the network. And you could do this by just, when you have Windows Explorer open like this, just do a // This emphasizes that you are using, that you're going over the network connection, and then you can type in the name of the computer. And here, for example, you can see that I already typed that in because I've accessed this other computer before. And if I do this and I select this, then I'm going to have access to this computer through the back door. But if I do this and type in C or C $, it's going to go to the root of C as long as it's allowed and set up by the computer. And what that happens is when you just go in, it's going to look just like as if you were backdoored into that C drive of that remote computer, right? So you're just accessing this other computer that you're going to re-image over the network, and it's going to look just like this. C users, except this part of it here is going to have the name of the computer before it, right? It's going to have before the C, I'm sorry. It's going to have it's going to look like this actually here. Computer name. All right, it's going to look something like this. Shared. And this is basically will take you to the same place I'm looking at right now. So in order to make a complete copy of a profile, and I recommend you do this instead of just going in and copying desktop and documents and favorites. So if I just go to Koboman and I'll go to desktop, I can copy all of these things that are in desktop folders. So instead of just picking desktop, documents, instead of doing this, right? What else? Favorites maybe. Instead of doing this, right click copy or control C, well, chances are there might be stuff in these other folders, right? There might be other stuff. So instead of you taking a chance, just do a copy. Control C or right click and copy, and then copy it onto another computer. It could be the computer that you're using right now. So you can copy it on your own computer somewhere or on a network drive somewhere. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. Just pick the one that's faster, right? And it's going to take a while to copy it depending on the size of it. And now you will have a full copy of it. Now you have to make sure that nobody is logged in currently to this computer, because some of the stuff will be already in use by the operating system. So you will get errors. Let's say Koboman is logged in right now and I start to copy his files and folders. You, on the other hand, on the other side, will get an error that says, you can't copy this because this file is being used by the operating system, this and that. Well, what you want to make sure is that remote computer is rebooted first. This will, and make sure that nobody is using it, right? But just make sure it's rebooted in case they stayed logged in. In case they stayed logged in, and then in case they are holding on, in case the operating system is holding on to the files that you need to copy over. Of course, before you re-image the computer, check the root of C and make sure there are no other folders that the user may have accidentally created somehow. Just make sure there are no other things in here that kind of stand out. So for example, if you see a folder in here, that's called, my backup, make sure you create a backup of that as well. Make sure you copied that as well. So just be on the lookout on that before you start deleting everything else after you make a backup. So that's kind of self-explanatory. And when you reinstall the operating system on that computer, make sure that you or the user actually logs into the computer again, and make sure that their local profile is created again, just like this. It's not going to be there after you reimage the computer, right? Because that user has not, in this case, Koboman has not or never logged into that computer after it got reimaged or reinstalled and everything else, right? So you have to do it once in order to create this local profile folder, and then you can go back in, and then if they need stuff from desktop, documents, or favorites, then you can individually make copies from the backup that you've created. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's self-explanatory at this point. I apologize if this was a bit long-winded, but it's important to be careful about this. All right, let's do a ticket from Javier here. Thank you, Javier, for submitting tickets. How to check how to check emails if they are malicious, and it says what would be the best way to check an email for maliciousness, like spam email or emails that come with malware. Like if a spam email comes with malware, it gets through our email protection proof point. How should be handled? This is great. Is it okay to take malicious file and move it to desktop to scan for viruses and upload it to well, looks like he linked to something, and I'm not going to link on this because it could be a virus. But I'm sure it's not. I'm not going to click on that. And if it's clean, then can tell user is okay to open. So this is great. I'm going to open up my Outlook and first tell you what to look for. And I kind of hinted to this just by not wanting to click on your link here, because this is how you would look out for malicious files that could be downloaded to your computer. So this could take me to a website that will automatically, possibly, install some kind of, automatically start downloading stuff, stuff that you would normally click on. It would automatically click it on for you, or activate the download, and it would start downloading stuff. And it may not execute right away, but as soon as you go to your downloads folder, as soon as you go to downloads folder, you may see it in here, and then you click on it and you start installing stuff, right? You don't want that. This is why you need a separate administrator login, just like I told you and I showed you how to use, so that malicious software can't run easily on your computer. Now I think VirusTotal here, I don't know what this is for sure, but I'm going to double check to see if it's a real thing. It might be a virus reporting website or something. Okay, so yeah, it looks like it's just a virus reporting website. Ah, look at this. Is VirusTotal trusted? And Microsoft's solution here, or conclusion, is that virustotal.com is a fake and randomly generates false list of malware. Now, this could just be a reply from somebody, but it doesn't matter. And it says here, VirusTotal is a website created by a Spanish security company, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. If this is the website that you use to report viruses, that's fine. I wouldn't worry about it. This is usually done by antivirus software automatically, so I wouldn't necessarily go in there and try to do all of this stuff. So here's Outlook, and as I've dictated, to look for suspicious emails and things that might give you a virus, look for things that look, for example, sketchy. First thing is links. Always look at the links. You can hover over a link and see what it says here. And here's just an email that I got, and it says you're receiving email because we have declared critical alert on your AdSync service. This is something I've installed on my Azure, not Azure Active Directory, but my Server 2016 machine, and installed Azure AD Active Directory Connect, which connects Server 2016 to Azure Active Directory. Well, that was done on a virtual machine, and virtual machine is not up all the time, so I'm getting these notifications. And look for things that are like links. First thing first, like what's a link, right? And you look at it and you hover over it. If you hover over it, it gives you an idea what it is. And this is here, docs.microsoft.com. I know that's safe because I've heard of this website, right? I've heard of I've heard of Microsoft.com, so that's probably fine. And here is a thing that's also automatically done by Microsoft and a lot of other software, a lot of email software, and that is that they block images, because images can contain links that will also take you to different websites that would give you viruses. And here's an example of this, actually. If there's a problem with how you view this message, click here to view in the web browser. Click here to download pictures. To help protect your privacy, Outlook prevented automatic download of some pictures in this message. All right? And then I can change it or view it and this and that, but it's just going to click view in browser, and we're going to see what happens. Oh wow, IE is still installed on this computer. Well, let's use Edge. And what this does, it just kind of downloads the whole thing locally, and then you can view the image, right? And all it is just this Microsoft Azure icon. All right, and there's a lot more to look for, and the suspicion that can come up when it comes to phishing and the virus emails is that hover over and check out the email itself. Email itself name, for example, it says here Microsoft, it can be spoofed, but if you hover over it, it will tell you what the actual email address is, right? And it says here this one is Azure no reply Microsoft.com. So we know that this email is indeed coming from Microsoft.com. Same thing if you're working for a company and you get this email that went through the system that wasn't caught by the by anti-spam system, if you will, then you can hover over it and see, you know, if it's really coming from that. Now, you know, big red flag is that if this showed up as, for example, some blah 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 random email address, then you know it's some kind of a scam or a virus, because they're spoofing, meaning that they're making it look like it's coming from Microsoft, but it may not be coming from Microsoft. So that's one thing to look for, and that's one big thing to look for. And if you scroll down, look for basically look for sentences with bad spellings, bad grammar, and this and that. Unfortunately, a lot of spam and scam emails come from foreign countries, and for those reasons, you want to look for errors in spelling and grammar, right? And if you suspect it, and if you suspect an issue, never download these things to your computer. Like Javier asked here, is it okay to take the malicious file and move to desktop? It's not okay. The reason it's not okay is because unless it's your job, unless you work for the security part of your company and you have a dedicated machine that's off the network, then it's not a good idea to get, you know, downloaded and play around with this. What you would want to do is forward these emails to phishing for your company, and they are basically the people who are going to look into this and do what you're asking me to do. So you would simply forward this email like this. We're just going to set up forward, and it says, do you want to download external content? It doesn't matter. I'm going to say yes to all of it, and then I'm going to forward it to phishing@microsoft.com. So whatever the companies that you look for, they should have an email address that looks like this. And if you have a security department, they will look into this. And sometimes they do test emails that looks like, you know, hey, you won lottery or something. You click on it and it takes you to a website that says, aha, we were testing and you failed. You fell for it. So, you know, it's kind of an educational thing. And basically, yeah, so you would forward this to the phishing. Now, let me see. Did I talk about everything that you asked me? Okay. And it says here, and if it's clean, is it clean to tell the user is okay to open? No, never tell user to open any of these emails or any of these files that may be downloaded. And if it is a known virus, then Windows built-in antivirus should detect it. It should detect it and take care of it. If it's a 0-day virus, then it won't find it. It will not, it will just be, it's way too dangerous. There's no 0-day means that I literally just made this virus and no antivirus software knows about it. No antivirus program knows about it. That's what a 0-day virus means. So under no circumstances is it okay for anybody aside from people who are actually part of the security team are allowed to play around with these malicious files. The best thing you can do is just forward it to phishing. I'm sorry, that was very wordy and very long-winded. I apologize, but it is what it is. I feel like it's very important to know. So I'm going to say phishing, scam, and virus emails should be forwarded to security. So I'm going to say group. Typically, I'm going to put it in quotes. Phishing at security.com or whatever else is used by your company. Never open or work with downloaded files from an unknown source. Please watch my video explaining what to look for in bad emails. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Please watch my video that explains. Why is this? Whatever. Okay, well, whatever. Okay. I'm going to close this ticket. I'm going to do one more here, and I apologize for that. Is that I've spent a lot of time working on that Udemy course, and I'm really exhausted from that. But I'm going to what was I gonna say? Yeah, I also need to I suppose prepare a little bit for a new job. I'm starting a new job on Monday. So I've got things to wrap up and do things around the house because I won't have that much free time in my new job as I normally do. My new job, I will be working till 5 o'clock, I believe. And I typically work till like 3 p.m. So I have to kind of wrap things up at home. For example, take care of lawn and cut the grass and all of that stuff. But yeah, let's do one more from Javier. When I send or forward emails or an email that has PDF, is automatically created a WMZ file. Creates a WMZ file. All right. I'm helping. Okay, he forgot to add description, but he did add the note later on, which is fine. I'm helping troubleshoot an issue where a client has PDF is attached to an email that he either replies to or forwards to convert PDF files to WMZ files, which are video files for some reason. I'm gonna have to look that up because I'm not familiar with WMZ. I guess Windows Media something. That's what WMZ stands for. The problem is that our customer, some have reported this issue, receive our emails and their IT department throws the email into spam. Steps I've taken. I've checked his default app settings, and that's what I was going to suggest actually, in his computer, and check the PDF is set to open always by Adobe, which it was. I've checked our email filter software proof point. Any suggestions? Let me see why. So there, he is forwarding the PDF files. He either replies to or forwards the converts the PDF files to WMZ file for some reason. Well, what the heck? What is WMZ? WMZ file. What the heck is that? Oh wow. Look at this. Well, according to this here, it's a pre-installed custom skin that changes the appearance of Windows Media Player. Wow. That's old. Does anybody even use Windows Media Player? What is WMZ file? Here we go for Microsoft. Is the default extension for zipped Windows Media Player skin file, which contains both a custom skin and the arts associated. What? Skins are now. Wow, okay. And it looks like somebody had the same issue. How do I convert WMZ to PDF? Okay. Wow. So, according to the information we have, what's happening is that whenever he sends or forwards PDF files in an email, their extension is somehow changed to WMZ. I don't know why this is happening where it shows up as WMZ unless the customer has no PDF reader installed. Right? That's the only thing I can think of right now. I'm going to say here, I think the issue is with the customer's computer. They most likely do not have PDF reader installed, or their file association needs to be adjusted to use PDF, just like you've done with user's computer. This has to be it. I don't know of a program, let's say it's Outlook. I don't know why, or for any reason, why would Outlook zip any of these files unless they are really big files. So in case this is happening, and it can happen, I suppose, but I don't know why, if these PDF files would have to be huge, right? There is a possibility that some kind of an email client as in, I mean, you're using Outlook, you're using Gmail, or whatever else. There's a small chance that if it's a super large file, that it's zipped first. And then sent to the customer, because email has a limit of how big of a file it can send. I'm going to say this too. Just in case the email client is compressing, and I'm going to say zipping, the sent PDFs, then customer may need to unzip the sent/attached PDF files. This usually, well, this may happen if PDF files are huge in size, for that reaches the maximum attachment send size limit, which, by the way, can be adjusted if you are, for example, I don't know, in Office 365, you can change the maximum send size limit of the attachments. Can I show you this? I'm going to show you this because this is going to be the last ticket we talk about, so I'm going to show you this as well. So I'm logging into the Office 365, Microsoft 365 Admin Center. I'm going to go into Exchange, and I'm going to look up. So if you look this up, if you have access to this, let's say this person that you're working with is Bob. Click on Bob if you have access. Go to his mailbox, and you can see here the mail flow settings says message size restriction, and here he is limited to, his sent size. The values of his maximum sent size is set to 35 megabytes here, roughly 35 megabytes, and you can manage the size. You can change it to, for example, let's say his PDF files are for some reason, 100 upwards of, total of 100 megabytes. I'm going to change this to 135. Same thing for send or receive. You don't want to do this usually because this is usually set to limit. Well, first of all, it puts a lot of pressure on the Exchange server to process all these large files. That's why there's a limit in the first place. The second reason is security. What do I mean by that? Is that this will prevent people from sending programs to each other. Large programs. Let's say, hey Bob, I got this new program, you want to check it out? And then he emails it to him. So you don't want to change these settings willy-nilly, as they say. But in this case, I'm going to do it just to show you that you can do this in case there is some kind of a zipping going on. So hopefully that helps. I'm going to leave it open just to see, if I get a response on this, because I'm really curious to see what's going on with this. I got a couple of tickets that are pending, and this one was from Vincent and Kenneth. Let me see if I got a respond. If not, I'm just going to close them and I'm going to call it a day. If you want to see what this was about, no response, I'm going to close it. Usually you don't want to close tickets, obviously, unless they're resolved. I'm just doing it to keep track of things for learning purposes, and no response on Kenneth. But yeah, previous video if you want to know what these are about. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you have a wonderful day. Again, Monday I'm starting a new job, so I'm very excited about that, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. I can't wait, to be honest. I can't wait. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day as well, and take care. Bye-bye.